You are a bleeding animal in a tank full of sharks, but you aren't bleeding blood. You are bleeding words. Picture a massive concrete dam. For years, it holds back a deep, dark lake. Then, a hairline fracture appears. Just a tiny crack. At first, it's only a trickle, a small leak. But think about the pressure behind that wall. That is the immense weight of your insecurity. That is your burning need for validation. That is your desperation to be understood. All that weight pushes against the concrete. Suddenly, the wall cracks wide open. The water doesn't just flow, it crashes out. It is chaotic. It is destructive. It is uncontrollable. This is you in a negotiation. This is you on a first date. This is you in an argument with your spouse. You cannot handle the empty space. You cannot handle the void. The moment the room goes quiet, you feel a phantom itch in the back of your throat. A biological alarm bell starts ringing in your ear. You don't look at silence as peace. You see it as a threat. You feel it like an accusation. So, what do? You open your mouth. You explain. You justify. You fill the air with nervous, vibrating energy. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You apologize for sins you didn't even commit. You take all your leverage and hand it over on a silver platter. You are leaking value. Every single unnecessary word you speak is a chip chiseled away from your authority. You tell yourself a story. I'm just building a bridge. I'm just connecting with another human being. That is a lie. What you are actually doing is signaling submission. You are the dog rolling over on its back, exposing its soft belly, hoping the alpha dog won't bite you. Take a hard look at the dynamic of your life. Watch yourself. When a question is asked, do you answer immediately? When there is a pause, do you rush to build a bridge across the gap? You are terrified that if the noise stops, the other person will see you for what you really are. You treat silence like a deep abyss that has to be covered up with the trash and debris of your idle chatter. But the abyss is looking back at you. By talking too much, you are killing your own reputation. You are telling the world that you are uncomfortable in your own skin. You are broadcasting a frequency of low status. You believe that if you just explain your side one more time, they will get it. They will understand. They will finally respect you. They won't. In fact, the human brain works in the exact opposite way. The more you speak, the less you are heard. The more you explain, the less you are respected. You are drowning them in data because you are drowning in your own anxiety. You are an open book written in the language of desperation. And let me tell you, everyone is tired of reading it. This is the trap. You think volume equals value. You think silence equals death. And because of this broken code in your operating system, you stay the weaker vessel. You are forever reacting to the world, forever dancing to a tune you didn't write. Why does this happen? Why is it physically painful for you to shut your mouth and hold a gaze? This is not just a personality quirk. This is biological programming. This is source code written into your DNA 100,000 years ago, and it is glitching in the modern world. Think about the Paleolithic era. Back then, silence was often the warning sign of death. If the forest suddenly went quiet, a predator was stalking you. If the tribe went silent when you walked toward the fire, you were facing exile. And in the harsh reality of our past, to be kicked out of the tribe was a death sentence. You would starve or you would be eaten. So, your brain built a system to keep you alive. The need to belong. The amygdala, that lizard part of your brain that spots danger, looks at social silence and sees a threat. It screams at you, fix this. Fix it now. Make a bond. Show them you are friendly. Show them you are harmless. When the conversation dies, your cortisol spikes. Your heart rate shoots up. This is a stress response designed to save your life from a tiger. But now, you are just sitting across the table from a client or a woman, and that instinct is destroying your status. You are running software designed for the savannah while trying to survive in a concrete jungle. This is the paradox of being a modern man. The instincts that once kept you safe are now keeping you in chains. But it gets deeper. We have to look at the brainwashing of the system. From the time you were a child, you were taught that silence is rude. You were taught to answer when spoken to. You were trained to believe that good boys use their words. The schools, the TV shows, and this soft social order have installed a program in your mind that puts getting along above being in charge. They told you that communication is the key to everything. This is a half-truth, which makes it the most dangerous kind of lie. Effective communication is key. But constant, nervous, unchecked communication? That is the mark of the servant, not the master. The servant must explain himself to the master. The master does not explain himself to the servant. When you rush to fill the silence, you are subconsciously signaling that you are the servant in the room. You are begging for approval. You are looking for that little nod that tells you, you are safe, you are a good boy. This behavior is hardwired. It is a reflex. It feels natural to you because you have spent decades burning those neural pathways into your brain. You have learned to equate silence with anxiety. You are an addict, and your drug is external validation. When the silence hits, you go into withdrawal. You will say anything, agree to anything, and reveal anything just to get that hit of social reassurance. You are a slave to your own biology, but unlike an animal, you have consciousness. You have the ability to override the code. You can rewrite the script. But first, you must understand the weapon you have been too afraid to pick up. Here is the red pill. Here is the dark reality that polite society refuses to look at. Silence is not empty. Silence is a vacuum, and nature hates a vacuum. When you create a hole in a conversation, you create a force of suction. It is physics. It is a law of the universe. By holding back your words, you force the other person to fill that space. And what they fill it with reveals everything you need to know. Most men are scared of the dark. They are terrified of the unknown. But the man who creates the darkness controls the room. When you are silent, you become a mirror. A mirror has no opinion. A mirror has no agenda. It simply reflects. When you stop projecting your own insecurities, the other person has no choice but to project theirs onto you. They will look into your silence and see their own fears, their own desires, and their own weakness. Think about the interrogator in a police station. Why does the detective sit silently across from the suspect? Why does he let the seconds tick by? Because he knows the suspect's biological programming will betray him. The suspect's brain will scream, he knows. He knows everything. I have to explain. And the suspect talks. He digs his own grave with his tongue. You are the suspect in your own life. You are constantly confessing to crimes you didn't commit because you cannot stand the pressure of the interrogation. The truth is that people do not value what is free. If your words are free, flowing, and abundant, they are worthless. Inflation applies to language just as much as it applies to money. When you print too much money, the value drops to zero. When you speak too much, your words become noise. The disturbing power of silence is that it creates anxiety in others. This sounds cruel. It sounds manipulative. And yes, it is. But life is a negotiation of power. If you are not generating the anxiety, you are absorbing it. There is no middle ground. When you are silent, you become unpredictable. The human mind craves patterns. It wants to put you in a box. He is funny. He is smart. He is nervous. When you are silent, you break their pattern recognition. You become a glitch in their matrix. They cannot figure out what you are thinking. They cannot predict your next move. This makes you dangerous. And in the primal hierarchy of men, being dangerous is the same thing as being respected. Women, in particular, are biologically tuned to detect weakness. A man who explains himself is a man who can be moved. A man who can be moved is not a rock. He is sand, and you cannot build a foundation on sand. When you remain silent in the face of a test, in the face of drama, or in the face of chaos, you signal a strength that no amount of bragging could ever show. You signal that you are the immovable object. The harsh truth is, nobody cares about your reasons. Nobody cares about your logic. They care about how you make them feel. And if you make them feel like you are begging for their approval, they will despise you for it. But if you make them feel the weight of your silence, they will respect you. They will wonder about you. They will chase you. You have been told that knowledge is power. That is false. Withheld knowledge is power. The card you do not play is the most powerful card in the deck. The moment you lay it on the table, its energy is spent. Keep your cards close. Let them guess. Let them wonder. Let them worry. Now you understand the trap, and you see the code. It is time to install the patch. We are not talking about becoming a mute. We are talking about strategic, weaponized silence. This requires discipline. It requires you to fight your own biology. Here are 3 cold, logical steps to hack the system and take back your power. Step 1. The 3-second rule. You must force a delay in your response time. This is the most basic hack, but it hits the hardest. When someone asks you a question, or when they finish a sentence, count to 3 in your head before you respond. 1, 2, 3. Do not nod. Do not smile. Do not make a sound. Just look at them. In those 3 seconds, 2 things will happen. First, your own cortisol will spike and then drop. You will take back control of your emotional center. You will move from a reactive state to a responsive state. Second, and more importantly, the other person will feel the vacuum. They will wonder if they said something wrong. They will wonder if you are judging them. They might even start talking again to fill the silence, revealing more information than they intended. By waiting 3 seconds, you signal that you are thinking, not reacting. You signal that your time is yours, and you will answer when you are ready, not when they snap their fingers. Step 2. The non-answer. Stop feeding the beast. When someone tries to provoke you or digs into your life with questions you don't want to answer, do not defend yourself. Do not lie. Simply give a non-answer. Why did you do that? Because I chose to. What are you thinking? Many things. Are you mad at me? I'm processing. These answers are walls. They offer no grip for the other person to latch onto. They cannot argue with, because I chose to. There is no surface area for conflict. You are not refusing to speak. You are refusing to play their game. You are stripping the emotional charge out of the interaction. You are becoming a gray rock, uninteresting, immovable, and unbreakable. Step 3. The walk away. This is the ultimate display of value. In a negotiation or an argument, if the disrespect crosses a line, or if the terms are not met, you do not argue. You do not raise your voice. You do not make threats. You pack your things. You stand up, and you leave without a word. This is the most disturbing power of silence. It communicates that you are willing to burn the deal. It communicates that your dignity is worth more than their validation. Most men are terrified to do this because they operate from a scarcity mindset. They think, if I leave, I lose. Wrong. If you stay and argue, you lose. If you leave, you take the power with you. The silence you leave behind in that room will scream louder than anything you could have shouted. It forces them to sit in the wreckage of their own behavior. It forces them to chase you, or to realize what they have lost. You have spent your life acting as a radio transmitter, constantly broadcasting a signal, desperate to be picked up. It is time to turn off the transmitter and become the black hole. This transformation will not be comfortable. Your skin will crawl the first time you hold a silence longer than feels polite. Your heart will hammer in your chest. Your brain will beg you to say something, anything, to break the tension. Do not give in. Let the tension build. Let the pressure rise. That pressure is the forge that turns coal into diamonds. That tension is the energy of attraction, of respect, and of power. Look at the men you admire. Look at the icons of history, the Stoic philosophers, the great generals. They are not remembered for their chatter. They are remembered for their presence. They are remembered for what they didn't say. You are living in a world of noise, a world of constant notifications, constant opinions, constant screaming. Be the eye of the storm. Be the void in the static. When you stop speaking, you start hearing. You start seeing the strings that move the puppets around you. You start seeing the matrix for what it is. The choice is yours. You can continue to be the nervous child, babbling to fill the dark, hoping the monsters won't eat you. Or you can become the darkness itself. The button is in front of you. Press it and cut the signal. Subscribe, turn on notifications. Silence the noise and wake up.